Hello, welcome back to this podcast Takes Tokens. I'm Ryan, joined by my brother Deric. So normally here, before we get this started, we've always got our icebreaker question. We left you off last week with our icebreaker question. We've been throwing around some names for this because if you remember, and I know you do, Deric, what did we do? What did we originally call this before icebreaker? It was a cold open question.
Cold open,
and
that's
then
right.
we switched it to icebreaker, but we've been for the last, since we've really started this, we've been trying to think about something else to call this segment of the episode. So we're going with Retro Ramble. I hope you like it. We like it. Kind of encapsulates, the things we talk about. And so this will be our first official Retro Ramble here.
That's right.
And
keep that in mind for the trivia episode.
That's right. That's right. 10 years down the road, we'll have that. So the question I asked you last week, what is your worst movie-going experience?
All right. How do we do this? Whoever asked it goes first, or you get to choose who goes first?
Get to choose who goes first.
All right.
Are you? Do you have yours? Like, do you?
I have mine.
I mean, I'm sure you've got it.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. My worst movie-going experience. I will preface this. For anybody that has family in the car, in the living room, or is with children, skip forward about 5 minutes. Come back and listen to this one on your own. But with that being said, it is not a PG experience, so I just want to warn you and give you a minute to skip ahead if you like.
Yeah.
But so mine was 2001, I want to say, whenever they remade the movie, not Moneyball. What was it? What was that movie called again? Powerball? No. Handball? No. I can't remember the name of the movie.
Rollerball?
Rollerball. That's it. Yes. Rollerball.
Okay. Yeah.
With Chris Klein, I believe, from the American Pie movies.
So. Yeah.
Was in it. Yes. And was doing the remake. The James Caan was in the original, if I remember correctly. Yep. So yeah, Rollerball came out in like 2001, maybe 2002. At this time in my life, I was 20. So yeah, it had to have been 2001, I would think then. So I was 20 and not old enough to drink yet, but we found other ways of enjoying ourselves on a Friday night. I'll just say. And, it was a very short period of my time in my life, and just something that I did. And anyways, this particular night, we were ready. We go and we see the movie, and I don't remember going to the movies or picking up tickets or anything. All I remember is we were sitting at the very front, off to the side, because we got there late. And I guess for whatever reason, this was a really popular movie. It was also, like I said, 2001, and theaters were pretty packed around this time. Like, people were going to see movies, like whatever. It seemed like they couldn't put anything out that people wouldn't go see at this time. And so we're kind of sitting off to the side up in the front, looking up at the screen. And that's about the time I want to say I regained consciousness. The movie had changed to a scene that was in black and white because it was like night vision, I want to say. And I thought I lost my sense of color and freaked out on my friends and was asking them in the middle of the theater if they saw this in black and white too, or if they saw the color. Because I can only see black and white and one color. And I was really concerned. And they kept telling me to shut up. And finally, somebody had to take me out of the theater. I regained my composure soon after. And I've never seen the film again. So I don't know if it was a good movie or a bad movie, but that was my experience with the Rollerball remake.
Wow. And, so,
yeah.
I've never seen that movie. But now, because of the story, we have to throw it on our list of something that we've got to watch. I have never been that many sheets to the wind that I've ripped off toenails before, but I've never questioned my reality that I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Whew. Yeah, that's an experience.
All right, it's your turn. Top it.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if I can top it, but so this was I was out of high school. I was probably 21, 22, I guess. I decided that I would like to go see the movie The Happening. If I just ended the story right there, that would be the worst movie going experience ever. Just watching M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to go watch it, so we go in there. I went with a couple friends, and we're watching it. And I look over, and one of my friends, he's got these really baggy, like almost Jinko type, Jinko. You remember those Jinko jeans?
Yeah,
type jeans on, and he pulls out a bottle of wild turkey, and he opens it up and starts drinking it while we're watching this. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
That might turn into a better movie experience.
Oh, I'm sure it probably did. The entire front row got up and walked out of the movie because it was that bad. Wow. I stayed through it because I'm paying for this. So that was weird. But the part that made it bad was as we were getting ready to walk out of the building, the manager stopped us. And she looked at one of my other friends. I'm going to refrain from saying who it is. She asked if he could pull out what was in his pocket. He does. Now, this is not the wild turkey. That was never found. What he pulls out of his pocket is, so if you go to the movies, like right above the door to screen 1, screen 2, or whatever, they've got like that plastic insert they stick in there. It's like a little, tells you, you're watching Terminator 2, or whatever it is. And he apparently took that and stole it. And somebody had seen it that worked there, and they told the manager, and she's got us all there, and she's going to call the police for theft, I guess, for this. Now, this is not the first time this friend of mine has gotten me in trouble with the authorities, because we were at a movie gallery once, and he stole a movie without me knowing about it. No. I had to try to explain to the cops that I had nothing to do with it. So yeah, here we are. The cops show up, and we're like having, like, me and the other guy that didn't do this, like, explain, like, look, we didn't have anything to do with this. Of course, he's trying to make sure they don't see the wild turkey that's in his, his pants at the same time, sweating bullets, because I'm like, I'll be dang if I go to jail because somebody stole a plastic sign. Like, I'm not, I don't want to. Yeah. We ended up, he gave it back. We all got out of it, but except for him. They ended up believing the other two of us. He, the one that stole it, ended up getting like banned from the movie theater for life. So I can't top yours, but that was a terrible, like, all because I wanted to go see an M. Night Shyamalan movie, and I have never went and watched one again. Just because of this.
Because of that happening.
Just bad luck altogether. Yeah. Bad movie, bad experience.
I had a friend who did that once. We went to a movie video store in high school, and I bought a movie poster, and I was walking out, and then he walked out behind me, and the manager, because, like, those old video stores, they'd have like a what is it? What do you call it? The desk off to one side and the desk off to the other side, or whatever you want to call them, where they check you out at the counters. Sorry.
Yeah.
So and then there would be an aisle between them. So you could check out at either one. You'd take the aisle between them to go out. And then they'd have aisles on either side that would come in. So you had one way in, or maybe two ways in, and then one way out. Well, that one way out, we're walking out, and the manager steps between us, and I kind of felt him like graze between us, and I turned around and I see him standing his back to me, and he's standing in front of my friend, and friend of a friend, and he says, "Son, I saw you go in that back room. This is one of those places that had the back room.
Had the back room, yeah."
And he's like, "We got cameras back there. Just whatever it was, put it on the counter, and I'll let you go." And after a minute or two of him going, "No, I swear, nothing," the guy was like, "Come on, we got cameras. We saw you." I was like, "Fine." And he puts it on the counter, and then we all left. And we gave him a hard time about that for months.
Oh yeah. I reamed this friend both times that this had happened. The first time was like in middle school, but then this second time, we were in our early 20s. I'm just like, never again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you again. Never. There's not going to be a third time. Never again are we going to do this. I am not going to be having to talk to the police with you.
Now, the funny part of it is, on the flip side, if they pulled it off, they're legends.
Oh, yeah.
But whenever they get caught, they are complete fools.
Oh,
and they cannot hear the end of it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let us know what your worst movie-going experience was. Throw it in the comments. We'd love to read it. And we'll have it on subsequent. We'll read it on a subsequent episode. Or if you throw it on there while we're live right now, we'll read it live. So, So, which does remind me, if you are listening to the audio version of this podcast, or if you're, checking it out on YouTube a couple weeks later or whatever, because we usually record these 3 weeks, roughly 3 weeks before we actually put them up, 2.5 weeks before we put them up on our podcast sites and things like that. Thursday nights, we do live streaming episodes. You can chat with us. On YouTube, you can chat with us. Instagram. I think those are the ones right now. My personal Facebook feed, but I'm not going to give that out to everybody. But this podcast takes tokens.
Hey, you follow us on Facebook. We get enough over there. We'll start streaming it there too.
That's right. Yep. And you can talk with us live. And also you get a 2.5 week head start on new episodes. So
that's right.
Check in with us over there. We'd love to see you. And with that, we're going to get this started, and we will catch you in just a second.
See ya. Your local video store card.
A comic book in your back pocket.
Games with no tutorials.
Music you had to discover.
And drinking water straight from the hose.
These are the things us millennials remember fondly. We are the Jennings brothers.
Join us after the streetlights come on
as we race our bikes from the top of the hill
right down memory lane.
Exchange those quarters, because this podcast takes tokens.
All right, we are back. Gonna roll on with our show today. I did not have a quippy, fun thing set up because I couldn't figure out a line to do.
Some of them don't. Yeah, some of them don't.
Yeah, they just don't work. But we're doing Arachnophobia. If you are scared of spiders, you're in the right place.
Yes.
Arachnophobia released July 18th, 1990. Budget of $22 million. You want to guess what the gross was?
This was an Emblem Entertainment. I'm guessing that they at least made their budget back and then some, but not much. I'm going with between 30 and 40.
a little higher than that. This ended up earning $60 million.
Wow.
So it wasn't like a crazy blockbuster, but it
Yeah.
was a successful movie. I mean, they basically earned their money back, and then twice over after that. So yeah,
it's enough for somebody to go, hey, how about a sequel? But
yeah,
maybe it doesn't happen.
Maybe it doesn't happen. Well, with the way things are going now, we'll probably end up having a sequel in about 2 years on this thing.
Yeah. Or an 8-episode prestige TV drama.
There we go. Didn't realize it until I was watching this that, again, I used to watch this a lot as a kid. Steven Spielberg was an executive producer on this.
Oh, yeah. Amblin Entertainment. I would assume so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think everything that's Amblin Entertainment, he gets at least
I think so. Yeah.
For, I would assume.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Maybe not.
What'd you think about it on the rewatch?
It was fun. It was, you can't take it too seriously.
Yeah.
There was definitely I was having fun with it. And then towards the end, I was really having fun with it. This is one of those movies that if you are okay with just the right amount of camp, it's fun. Like it's just fun. The spider has an attitude. This spider has an attitude, as per the trailer, and they give it a little bit of a personality. It seems like it's got like it starts out and it bites the guy in his sleeping bag, and then they put him in his coffin, and the spider's like, you know what, I'm gonna hitch a ride with this guy, and it's got like it knows where the coffin, at the very
least, going to America,
go somewhere, yeah. And it just goes with the guy, and then sets out to spread itself, by whatever means. It meets a local spider, and they fall in love. This could be a Hallmark movie. It's spider,
a Hallmark movie. That's what it is.
South American country, and meets some country girl, and they have all these little spider babies. Yeah. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. How about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a great creature feature. Is what we don't see a lot of real creature features anymore. Like I think this is really a product of like the 50s and maybe the 60s some. But rewatching this, to me, it made me feel like I was watching something kind of like, I don't know, the Blob, or I don't know, The Birds, or something like that, where it's kind of campy, but it's
not entirely out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, like it's okay. Like I'm fine with the campiness. Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it on a rewatch. I thought it was fun. There was a few whatever. There was a few things that I kind of had issues with. We can get into it a little bit. Qualms. There we go. But yeah, I thought it was just fun. And we've said it before, like it's fine if a movie is just fun. It's great if a movie is just fun. That's all we need. We're just trying to be entertained. And
it was very entertaining.
Yeah. Now I remember, I don't know if you do, when I first watched this, it was on TBS. They aired the hell out of this movie, like over and over again. It seems like it was on like once a week on TBS at one point, like mid-90s.
I want to say like my grandparents or somebody had this on VHS, and we watched it there at like the farm or something. I want to say, if I remember correctly. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I know. Like you. Yeah. Like it was either on TV all the time, or I want to say somebody had it, because I remember vividly seeing the box a lot. So I think somebody had it, and we watched it a lot. Maybe on my mom's side of the family.
Yeah.
Or it may have been Aunt Kathy's. Aunt Kathy had a pretty decent movie collection. She may have had it.
Yeah. There was a lot of movies over there. So yeah, maybe it may have been there too. I mean, I'm sure I watched it on VHS somewhere. But I remember it. I mean, I think they even did like a dinner and a movie with it or something on TBS.
I'm sure. Those were so much fun. Or DVD on TV.
Oh my gosh. Yes. They were great. I kind of miss that stuff. Just don't really get that too much anymore, I guess. Well, maybe maybe somebody on YouTube's. Well, I don't know, because of licensing rights or whatever. But anyway, it was fun. It was fun. What I'm trying to. I have a lot of qualms that I've written down here, so I'm like trying not to get too much into those.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
Get out of the way.
The acting in the beginning was a little stiff. It was a little bit stiff, right?
I think you had a lot of locals.
A lot of local. Oh.
Yeah, like a lot of I think they actually went to South America somewhere to film. Yeah. And so you ended up with a lot of people, local actors or people that just showed up for an audition call or something like that maybe weren't actors. Or even if they filmed it somewhere in I don't know, Louisiana or something like that to kind of give a similar look. And then you get people that come just for an open casting call or to be extras or something like that. And they're just paying them spec or day rate or something like that.
Yeah.
So, you can get the bottom of the barrel.
Mine wasn't even necessarily that. It was, I'm trying to find the guy that played him, his name here, and I can't. He was the first guy that died. Mark Taylor. Mm-hmm. I thought that. I'm watching it, and I'm just I know he's supposed to be sick, and he's supposed to be, I don't know. It took me out of the movie just a little bit in the beginning. I'm like, it was an moment,
Maybe it was the direction, Frank Marshall. Maybe it was a problem.
Could have been.
He's getting too many notes or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with his work to know.
I mean, I thought the rest of the movie was great, and I thought Julian Sands did fine. I always kind of enjoy him. He's kind of one of those guys that you've seen him in a lot of different stuff, and I don't know, that kind of took me out of it just a little bit in the beginning. So I'm just he's, I don't know, he was sick. And then he wasn't sick, sort of, when they're walking through the jungle. And then when they get back to the camp, he's like, "Oh, this fever is killing me." I'm like, "Well, it wasn't killing you when you were under the tree, 20 minutes
maybe because it was cooler." They said that it was
could have been
20 degrees cooler under the canopy or something like that.
Yeah, that could have been.
Maybe that's why. I don't know. But the thing that bothered me about him was whenever he got bit and his death scene. That was.
I had a note on that. It was so bad.
That was pretty crappy. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
It was. And the way that they show the spider, they do it a couple times in the movie. They show the spider biting into skin. Yeah.
The skin looks like a bed sheet that's been stretched out.
It does.
Then somebody's got big old hand things.
Yeah. And they're just putting some red dye on the whatever for the blood. I had a note about that one too. It was gosh, that's it. It's the beginning, the stiffness. Are we acting?
I felt like the beginning was a bit long too.
Yeah.
To the point where they finally brought the body in, I think was a good 20 minutes. It was a long opening. And I was definitely in the beginning, they get on the helicopter and they go for this ride and they're doing all this stuff and they're making their way through the jungle, and I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, I get it. Get to the point. When are we going to get to doing something? This is dragging on.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a product of movies of the time. They could get away with that because the audiences were a little more forgiving and willing to sit through a little bit more. But if you made this movie today, I feel like we would be on the Jennings family within the first 5 minutes. The whole jungle sequence and all that would have taken place over 2, maybe 3 minutes. Yeah. And then we would have the morgue scene where the guy shows up with the spider, maybe another minute, and then we're on to the Jennings family moving into town.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. The morgue scene, what is with this funeral director, this mortician, this owner, this funeral owner? He's constantly eating and he's putting his sandwich down on the table where he embalms people.
It seems to be something that, but this seems to be something you see in movies all the time with morticians or not morticians, but what are they called? He's not a mortician. What is he? He's the not a funeral director, the medical guy who does autopsies and stuff like that.
Oh, the coroner.
Coroner, yeah. The coroners, they're always eating food in the mortuaries or in the labs or whatever, and they're always putting their food down next to, or even in a couple movies, I've seen them put their food down on the bodies, and it's like, oh god, what is going? That can't be. I wonder. There's got to be some kernel of truth to this, because it's too often that you see this in movies. I can't imagine that this is something that everybody who writes these movies is like, oh yeah, we have a coroner, he's got to be eating because we always see him eating, or it's funny or whatever. This had to have been picked up from somewhere. I imagine there's a few coroners out there that are like, it's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just going to eat while I'm in here.
Yeah. Personal preference. I
suppose so.
I mean, I don't know.
Not me.
Well, like, what was your favorite scene in this movie?
It's got to be anything with John Goodman. Man, I loved him in this movie. He was so much fun. And I really liked whenever his character came on the scene, they played like that whimsical music in the background, and you knew, oh yeah, we're in for a fun, good time with this character. And he'd come on and he does his little thing, like whenever he's in the basement and he's like, you mind if we just rip this beam out? And she's like, yeah, I do mind. And he's like, yeah, okay, it's probably good. Never mind.
Yeah, it's probably good. Yeah. It doesn't need ripped out. It doesn't need
down. It's fine. It's just like his delivery was so great. I really enjoyed the character. I really enjoyed like everything that he put into it. It kind of felt like he was going for Bill Murray's character from Caddyshack a little bit. Like I kind of got those vibes from it a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe that was like his version of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Goodman was a lot of fun.
Oh, he was. It's just such a classic character. Like just when I think that if anybody thinks about arachnophobia, one of the first things you think about is Delbert. Like, he's, it's in that scene, we watched it in the trailer, that scene where he just like looks back, and he's like sitting on the floor in the bathroom. Like, I remember seeing that like on TBS all the time, like when they were showing the trailer, like, or part, like, this is, we're going to be airing this on Friday night, or whatever. And they would have that little scene where he like leans back, and I can't remember what he said, but he's always giving some little quip, Yeah,
and he's like, we're going to find that spider or something like that.
That's right. Yeah. What was in that? Like, I wonder
the
what
stuff
was
he was
in
spraying.
His secret stock that he had, or whatever. Yeah,
because it would like smoke and sizzle. It was like acid or something.
Like, what is this that he's using? Like, this guy, like, he is dedicated to his job so much.
Well, it didn't do that the first time he used it, and like whenever he came across that first one on the patio as he's leaving the house of the football coach, and he's like, oh, I found it, it's out here or whatever, and he's spraying it with the stuff, and then the spider keeps getting up and like giving him, spider's got attitude, he's giving him a little attitude, and he's like, he kind of like does that like double take, and he's like, all right, let's go, and then he like pulls him up and he starts like double gunning it on the spider, and the spider scooting across because it's just getting hit, but the spider's not dying, and he's still coming at him. And then he walks over and he steps on him and he squishes him. I think after that he was like, okay, I gotta up my game with these spiders because this isn't doing enough. And then he got like industrial like Acme acid or something. He got the dip. That's what it is. He got the dip from Roger Rabbit's friend. Yeah. He's coming at him with that. Because it was like sizzling and smoking, and I don't know. But that second round that he came at him, it would hit them and they would just go like, ah, and then they were instantly dead. And you get that sizzle and smoke like it's acid.
Everything, gosh, you're right. Everything about him was just like when he meets the what's that guy's name? When he meets the spider expert or whatever, he ends up coming down.
The Dr. James, whatever.
Yeah, and he like shakes his hand. He's like, "Nice to meet a colleague," or whatever. Yeah. Like he's like, he's not an exterminator.
Yeah, always nice to meet a colleague. That's so much fun. Yeah, I just enjoyed it for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine.
I didn't. How about what's yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Mine is. It's one of those scenes that I think is just it sticks with me. It's always stuck with me since I watched it for the first time. It's when they find, or they think that the spider's nest is in the mortuary and the funeral home, and they get over to the couple's house, and they go in. They had to go over there because they couldn't call because the phone was off the hook because they were watching Wheel of Fortune.
Oh yeah,
and
I love that.
Oh yeah,
he always takes the hook off of Wheel of
takes
Fortune.
it off the hook. Yeah, and they're sitting there. They're dead on the couch, and then Jeff Daniels kind of gets up close to him, and the spider crawls out of his nose. I just love that scene. It's just, clearly now it looks dated. You can tell that that's a
rubber
special
or whatever.
effect. It's a rubber, whatever. But it still
gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh my gosh, it does. Yeah. Like this thing, did it bite him in his mouth and then it's just been crawling through his body? I don't know. But I like that scene a lot. As creepy as it is, or as gross as it is. I like that.
Yeah. And then they decide we need to quarantine the town for these spiders. Mm-hmm. Do spiders obey quarantine laws?
they're going to be, whoa, guys, we can't go past the city limits here.
They put a quarantine to the because I heard that and I was like, I don't think the spiders care if you erect.
It's not like
they're not going to bother.
It's not like this is like some bird flu or something that we don't want to get in contact with anybody else.
It's not the people spreading it.
miles of countryside here. They're just gonna. And we've established they don't just bite humans. They'll kill animals. So it's not like they're just going to be they won't spread out. They killed the that bird in the beginning. They killed. They were trying to kill the cat, but they didn't. But what's her name? Grabbed the cat before it could. Yeah.
That's true.
I can't think of any of them.
And they had a rat in the web. It came down and hit him in the face. Man, that one was.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
that was my phrasing throughout this whole movie was nope, I would not. Don't go in there. Nope, no.
Well, that webbing when Molly is telling Ross, hey, she's like, there's a
cool web.
Yeah, that's how there's a web. There's a web.
Yeah,
in the barn. Molly, you go in there, the entire web's a barn, or the entire barn's a web.
And she's like, you got to come conquer your fears. You got to come in here and conquer your fears. If those tables were turned, if it was her that was afraid of the spiders, there's no way he could get away with being like, you got to come conquer your fears. Nope. That's spousal abuse.
No way. It's not like there's a little, there's a little spider web up here in the corner. It's like there's the entire barn is a web.
It caught a rat at one point. There was a rat in the web.
Yes.
Which, how do they make those webs for movies? That has to have taken. Are they doing that by hand, or do they have some way of doing that?
Machine to do that? I would imagine they've got to have it. There's no way they've got somebody a team of people just stringing that up.
Yeah. Now, the big cloudy ones, I could see they're stretching out cotton or whatever. But the really intricate, it's got the lines coming out of the middle, and then the classic Spider-Man spider webs or whatever. Those I gotta imagine are being made by hand in some way because it's too perfect. Mm-hmm. Unless they have spiders that they're we know these spiders make the webs this particular way. If we release them here, it'll make the web, but you can't guarantee that it's going to go from the points you want to get the light and everything that you want. I don't know. I was watching the movie and I was like, man, these are beautiful. How do they make them?
Yeah.
How do they make them?
But, no. I mean, I'm sure when oh gosh, I keep forgetting his name. The doctor, Dr. James, the spider doctor, not Dr. Ross. When he is up in the barn and he's using his finger to pluck on the surely that's some sort of a wire or something they're using because it's too bouncy. I would think, but
he's got to know better. He's
Oh my
got to know
gosh!
better. What does
At
he
that
do? He
point,
knows.
he knows how poisonous it is. Like at that point,
Yes.
why are you doing this? I know he wants to, like, he's a scientist and he wants
Yeah,
to.
he's excited.
Yeah, but gosh, that was one person I didn't think I didn't think he deserved to die. I say that was one person. I don't think the only person I think that deserved to die was that old doctor. Like that was such a. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah,
Like he is
that
gone.
whole like big city doctor coming into
Yeah.
town thing was like, I was like, okay, come on now, like
Yeah.
Jesus, like let's get over this. What are we doing
Yes.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was that was wearing on me. But I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. The whole like every time they do a small town thing and there's all the grumpy old people that are like, ooh, this big city and so doing this thing here. Back off, dude. What, like they're trying to help you out. He's just trying to help out. He's just trying to show you some stuff, and you're too big. You know everything. You can't learn something new. Like, come on.
You're the one that told him you were retiring and offered to sell your practice to him.
Did they not have a contract before the James family was over there?
I don't know. Like, you would have thought they would have, or something.
You'd have to, yeah. You're moving, like, I don't know, where was it at? Because they moved from San Francisco to, I guess it's somewhere out in California country.
I assumed it was probably like they moved to Northern California or something, where it was a little more rural area up there. And
were there mountains in the background? I can't remember. I think there were.
I think
in
there
some
were.
Of the scenes.
Yeah.
So they're probably like, at the foothills of the mountain range that runs there through California. Yeah, okay. But they get spiders out there for sure. But yeah, they man. No, the whole big city doctor thing, that was wearing on me.
That was wearing on me. Well, even the sheriff was, I'm like,
yes. Which, I mean, that sheriff, you knew he was a big D-bag when he showed up at the party in his, not in like a nice, like, a Sunday best or even just like casual Friday. He showed up in his full-on sheriff's uniform.
Yeah.
On his day off to this party.
Yeah.
Like throwing his weight around. You're not on duty. Calm down, dude. Like we all know you're the sheriff. You don't need to prove it every day.
Well, I think one of the citizens says something about how in high school he was just like basically a nobody, and then once he got some power, he's like, oh, like, now I've got the authority over everybody else. And I don't know, I always do kind of like that stereotype, I guess, when I see that in the movie. I mean, the character was irritating, but I always
like
think
the comeuppance that they get.
Yeah. Like, now I'm the one running you. Yeah. But that said, if he would have been bit, I'd been fine with it. It's like he was the only other person.
I feel like he was maybe a little too dumb to suffer that fate. Like, if he would have been bit too, you'd feel bad. Because you'd be like, that's true. He was kind of a jerk, but he wasn't very bright, and maybe he didn't deserve that. But the doctor, you're like, that's true. He was a jerk and he knew better.
Oh yeah. He just,
And I feel like that with the spider doctor too. Like, he wasn't a jerk, but he knew better than to go into that den looking for that spider. Like, he knew what he was up against. Yeah. And he went there anyways. Arrogance, hubris is what got him. Seems like it's what gets them all. Yeah.
His assistant doesn't do that.
No, like his assistant was very much so like,
yeah,
he kept his distance.
Like, that was a great scene, and it just shows you the intellect, I guess, of these spiders. Like, when they're in the house of, I think it was the doctor's house, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that they're in there.
In that scene.
Yeah, and like the spider is on the table, and he starts to move, and the spider moves.
Yeah,
like it's looking, and like, if that were me in that situation, what are you gonna do? Like, I know he tells Ross,
I'd be Dr. Ross against the wall, like, nope, not moving.
Yeah, he's like, Ross, you've got to put this glass over it or whatever. Yeah, you've got to
just
what
did he say?
Distract him. Yeah. I don't think I can.
He's like, we all have this little thing in us. When we need to, we can do it. He's like, I don't have that little thing.
Yeah.
I'm with Dr. Ross.
Yeah.
I don't have that little thing.
I was happy that guy like survived, because I mean, I see him like, okay, he's going to be the one to carry on the mantle of, whatever the other doctor was doing.
Botany the other guy's doing. Which one is what is? He's a spider doctor. Like, I don't understand like his purpose in just the world, just to study spiders for like a university or something.
That's what I imagine. It's got to be. It's got to be. I mean, you've got people out there now that are, entomologists or whatever that study bugs for.
That's true.
A university has to be paying them, because I mean, there's no place here in town that's paying somebody to look at bugs.
Not in the private sector.
No. So that's what I imagine. Probably UCLA or something like that, where they're at, and they're just
probably.
I don't know. But one of the things that kind of it bugged me on the rewatch was at the end of the movie, there's no real arc for Molly and Ross. I mean, Ross overcomes his fear of spiders to an extent. I don't know if he's ever,
because they moved back to San Francisco.
yeah. That's it though. They moved back to San Francisco. Like, I felt like a real arc for them would have been like, now like we're going to put down roots in this rural community. The community needs a doctor. I'm going to stay here. I'm respected now, and that seemed like the natural place that the movie should have ended at. But instead, they just F this place. They up and abandon it. And they're, they're back in San Francisco.
They come back to San Francisco, and I'm like, oh, like, I feel like you didn't grow. Like, you regress back to where you were. Mm-hmm. Or the movie's trying to tell us, like, don't move out to the country. The city's where it's at. Stay in the city. Like, people in the country are fools or whatever, Like, I don't know. I felt like, I felt like it was a little bit of a cop out. Like, don't move back to the city. Like, you made a choice. Like, now what are these people going to do for a doctor? Like, he left. They didn't have another doctor. They have one doctor in town, which, like, I mean, one doctor in the whole town? There's not another doctor.
No, that's. I'm like, when that doctor is like, well, I decided I'm not going to retire. I'm thinking like, just open up another. I mean, he does, just open up another practice. Like, how big is this town? Like,
that was one question I had is like, how many people does the doctor need to sustain a living? Like, I mean, it can't be like, I'm sure he could get by with like a couple dozen at least, maybe. I mean, if they're coming in regularly. But I suppose most people don't come in, but maybe once a year, if that.
Yeah,
if he's like,
checkups and stuff like that.
They don't have clinics and stuff like that, so maybe he's like checking out, because like whenever things started, whenever the other doctor died and he started picking up, everybody, he was seeing that one girl who was just complaining about like flu-like symptoms or something like that, or sore throat or something. So it seems like everybody goes to him for everything. Like, they don't
just
have
general practice. Like,
I don't think they have a hospital in town or anything. It's just the doctor. And then if you need a hospital, you go into like the big city or whatever.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know like how big the town is, but it seems big until they start mapping out the locations where people have been bitten at. And then it's just like this little section that's, it looks like it's maybe the size of my neighborhood. They're just like, oh, well, there's 5 locations. What's in the middle? That's my house. Well, his house looks like it's way out in the sticks, right?
Yeah.
But apparently it's in the middle of town, I guess. I don't know. It's just, I would love to see the logistics of this town. Like, let me look at this town. Maybe I'll rewatch it and just like pause it on the map or something. I don't know.
I need to know the layout. Do they have a hardware store? They have a doctor.
They should have a hardware store. Yeah.
You gotta have like a movie store, somewhere. Like, it's the 90s. I'm sure there's like a little video store, a little bit of everything. Like, that was probably like the perfect time in 1990 to live in like a small town. Like, you could have the comforts of everything without you know, Walmart coming in and taking over everything, or, you know, Amazon, you know, wiping out all the small businesses in your town. Like you could have a bunch of little mom and pop places, little diner and things like that. And, you know, little slice of Americana right there in the 90s.
I mean,
sure.
we had that here in town when, you know, when we were growing up, like in the early 90s, like all the buildings on the square had something in them. I remember there was a bookstore. Like, I know somebody listening from the city is going to be like, oh, well, it's a big deal. It's a bookstore. But like, no, all we have here, like this town is like 10,000 people. We have a Walmart if you want to get a book. Like, and they had a full on books. Yeah. Now. Yeah. They had a full on bookstore. They had
music store with instruments. Like you could go buy like music instruments and stuff. Yeah.
Yep. We had a computer shop that was downtown.
At one point, there was a store that was dedicated to like, it was just like a little store dedicated to like Sanrio stuff. Like, we've had lots of little stores throughout.
Yes. Yeah. And the movie theater was right downtown. It was, diners.
Little ice cream shop. Little arcade even. Little skating rinks. Yeah. Lots of little.
It was great. Yeah. It was great. I miss that, man. Like, I drive downtown now and like I can just tell my kids, I remember what used to be here.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. Like there's a donut place now where that ice cream store used to be. Like the whole building burnt down. So now it's just like they've paved over it.
I remember whenever the ice cream store was across the street before that.
Oh yeah. Yep. Barbershop and everything.
Yeah. They had I remember whenever just off the square, I think it's like a pharmacy now, or it was a pharmacy last time I saw it. Used to be a J.C. Penney's, like an old J.C. Penney's with a downstairs basement and everything, with the men's department,
like department
true
store,
old school department store. Yep.
Yep. Not anymore.
No,
we got a few of those places
all that
still.
Small town.
Yeah. But that leads. Like I did have a note on here. Like I love these quaint little towns in movies.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something like you're saying. It's just it's Americana, you know, and it's
going extinct. Sadly.
Yep. It's fun you can capture that if you even when we watch Goonies, it's like their town didn't seem very big. You know, it's just I love it. I love those little towns. There's just something that's even if you've never lived in one, which I can't say because I do live in one, but like I'm sure that somebody that's never lived in one sees that. And get some feeling.
They know
of
what it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Huh. Well, small towns.
Yeah,
miss them.
So the party scene back to Arachnophobia, and we saw so we saw this in the trailer. The spider is moving the cup.
Yeah. Nobody notices.
What are these? What are these spiders like?
Yeah.
They can move a cup. Like I'm surprised, honestly, when John Goodman, when Delbert stepped on that one spider, it didn't
lift him back up.
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, I'm getting a little resistance here."
Yes.
Yeah. So I was watching this movie, and the credits start rolling, and they have like a spider crew, like a crew of folks.
Oh yeah,
whose entire job is to take care of these spiders. Like they didn't have just like one or two spider wranglers. It was like a dozen people. They had one job was just spider spotter. Like their entire job is just, I guess, to watch for spiders to get away. Ooh, can you imagine trying to wrangle all the spiders on this movie? That's
I do know some of those spiders were animatronics that they used.
Oh yeah. When the close-ups and everything.
Yeah.
The big one.
I mean, there at the end, like both the queen and the general, I guess, like clearly were animatronic. I mean, they're so big. Like, in the way that they're jumping and everything. But I don't know. That scene was fun though. I like that end scene where they're like, they're trying to get out of the house and the spiders are everywhere. Which I say that though, I didn't understand how all of a sudden the spiders are there. It's like at that point the spiders are like, okay, get them now. It's like they've got
were
this.
like, let's go.
Yeah, they've been
They
hiding.
had a plan.
They're like
Yeah.
it's like a surprise birthday party, and then they all just kind of come out.
It was definitely it was a great balance of tension and just utter ridiculousness from the spiders for sure. But it was a lot of fun. Like you said, and then suddenly they're just surrounded by spiders and they can't get out of the house.
Yeah. And then when he falls from the second floor through the bottom floor and then into the basement, and he gets up. I'm like, I don't think I'd be getting up after that. Like, that's a long fall.
That's a hard fall.
That's a hard fall. But I did like the final showdown with him and the general and they called it the general, didn't it? The big male spider.
I think they refer to him. Yeah, he's like a general.
Yeah. That was fun. It was fun, like the little cat and mouse game, and then I liked the shots where you would see like him he was spraying fire in the reflection of the spider's eyes. Yeah. It was very much like this spider is a intelligent, like
it's got attitude,
intelligent creature. Yeah, it does. Yeah. And that shot at the end where he just like it jumps up and he just shoots that nail gun. Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's so ridiculous, but it's so much fun. And it was perfectly shot. It hit the spider and nailed it right into the egg sac and just took all of it out at once. That was just great.
Yep. And he admits, Ross says, he's like, that's a good shot.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, whenever they were rolling that scene, I thought I saw right before the window out of the basement, didn't one of like the mama spider or something like that get away? Like one of the big spiders didn't get away? I thought I saw one of them leave the house. I meant to go back and watch it again.
Now that I know there was at least one that it looked like it came out of the sack.
Okay.
And kind of scurried away. And
I thought maybe they were setting it up for a sequel that never happened.
Sure, maybe. I mean, they do. They said that that new batch, the original batch, didn't have the ability to reproduce, but the new batch would.
Yeah. Which how do they know that? This is a whole brand new species apparently, and they know everything about it.
This is a guy that has dedicated his life to spiders.
He knows.
He knows. He knows a thing or two about spiders. I'm sure even if it's a new species, there's got to be some common ground here, wouldn't there? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Some crossover.
I guess this thing is like kills you with one bite, so I don't know.
Which, like in the beginning, they're going to hunt down these spiders. They're working their way through the jungle, and they reach a certain point, and all the locals are like, "No, we're out. It's that way. You keep going if you want to find them, but we're going to stay back here." That should be a clear-cut sign that you don't. If the locals won't go near it, you probably shouldn't go near it either.
Yeah,
Just saying. That's a pretty good rule of thumb that I like to live by.
Yeah. So they're at that tree and they're smoking it out, or whatever and everything. Butterflies fall and all that. Why does the spider not attack them there? Like, cause he's clearly in his right mind enough to be able to like hitch a ride. Like, why didn't he just attack? Unless he's just like, I want to take a trip to the United States. Like, I don't know.
It's more of like the spider seemed to know where it was going. Like it was like, I know that if I kill this guy, they're going to put him in a box and they're going to send him somewhere and I can take a ride with him. And that's the part where I'm like, I don't fully understand the intelligence of this. It would have made a whole lot more sense if they would have captured it in one of those jars and on the way back to the university, it falls off the back of a truck. I would believe that more so than
bust open.
This spider is intelligent enough to hitch a ride in a casket back to the United States.
Yeah,
it's just like that's probably the sticking point for me, is like the intelligence of this spider is superhuman. It doesn't make sense, but I mean, I suppose that's kind of the premise of the movie, is it's a semi-intelligent spider.
It's a creature feature. Like
creature feature, that's right. Yeah, you just got to give it just enough. Just enough.
Yeah.
How does Dr. Jennings remember being a baby? You know this? You know what I'm referring to? Like, he's telling the story about like how whenever he was in the crib as an infant, and there was a spider that crawled on his leg, and he felt paralyzed. How does he remember that? I can't remember anything. I can't remember what I had to eat 2 weeks ago, but he remembers being a baby in a crib.
I can't remember being a baby in a crib, but
no,
I can tell you one of my earliest memories. I had to have been two. I remember laying in bed at night, and I don't know if you remember this, but there was at our house, that 2-story house that we had that burnt down. That was over on JFK. I remember, so there was an inflatable T-Rex.
Clown. Oh, the T-Rex, yeah.
It was the T-Rex. You remember that? It was stuffed. It was deflated, and I remember it. It was stuffed underneath some clothes in my drawer, my dresser drawer. And I woke up in the middle of the night with like something touching my face. I'm like, what the heck? And you're laughing. I know. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I look, and it's been inflated, and it's like moving back and forth. I can still see it. It's moving back and forth, and its hand is like bouncing off of my cheek. Like, it could have been, I don't know, the fan or something that was causing it. I remember getting up, and I got in bed with Mom and Dad because it scared the heck out of me. I don't know if somebody came and blew that thing up, like Dad or somebody.
It took like 3 hours, but I got it blown up. It took me a while. I stayed up late that night.
You've been like, what, 7 maybe at that point? 8?
In a different state.
Yeah, in a different state. Yeah, I don't know.
But train.
My point is, well, 2 points. I'm pretty sure that house was haunted as crap. But my other point was, I was 2 years old, and I remember that, but I don't remember being a baby. So maybe his idea of baby was like, because back then, like I remember them using the, like, we look at babies now and we think, we've got like, oh, they're up to 12 months or they're 15 months, or something like that. And we can always do months. And then once they hit 2, it's like, now they're a toddler. But I remember like back in the 90s, like somebody would say, oh, my baby. And it's like a 3-year-old kid. But it's a baby,
But he was in a crib. Maybe. Like, you don't stay in a crib past like a year old, really.
You shouldn't, but yeah.
Shouldn't. Yeah. And especially, like, I would assume back in the 50s, they were like, you're old enough to walk. Here's a cigarette and a bed of your own. Or, something like that.
Yeah, here's a beer.
Yeah. It was they definitely weren't letting them ride the crib for an extended period of time. That was like, we got to make room and clear out for the next baby. You got 9 months at best.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That is well, it kind of falls in line with the rest of the movie. So.
All right. It was just like, I was like, you couldn't have said like I was like 5. Like, I believe 5. I believe 4.
Oh, yeah.
But a baby is very specific. That paints a very specific image.
Yeah. I mean, but then it happens again. Like this, at the end there, the spider's crawling up his leg. And of course, that time, I think it's intentional that he's not trying to, he's going to surprise it with the nail gun.
He's letting the spider think that he's succumbing to his fears. Like, the spider knows that it can evoke fear from people just by existing somehow, because
it heard the story.
It heard as we've established, the spider has attitude.
Yeah. Now, I had another note about Delbert.
All right.
And it was when he goes to the coach's house. And he's, taking care of, he's like looking for the spider. And, we knew one went in the toilet, and luckily it didn't bite the coach on the butt. Like that would suck. And the other one went down the drain. But he kills that one spider that we've talked about. He sprays it, then he steps on it. Then he's like, that's it. They're done. I got him. Like, you're an exterminator, and you've killed one spider, and the infestation's gone. Like, one. That was it. I'm done. I have
hey,
give me my money.
You don't get repeat business by taking out the colony. That's not how this job works.
That's true.
He's thinking ahead. He's a businessman.
Well, he obviously is, because he was going to tear out the whole floor of the Jennings home.
Yes. Which, was it just that house was just old and the wood was just like rotting, or what was were they trying to claim that it was the spiders? Because didn't they say something about some spiders chew wood?
Did they? Maybe.
I thought they did.
I don't know. If that's the case, then maybe that's what they were saying. I thought that they were just using that as a way for Ross to fall through the floor eventually at the end. Yeah. But I mean, maybe they did say that. I mean, then they could still be using that to lead up to, this scene. Because they probably had this scene, how, like, I don't know, you think about a story that you're trying to make up, and you've got this awesome scene. You're like, okay, I got to build the whole story around this one scene, or whatever. So I'm sure somebody somewhere had, I don't know, I don't remember who wrote this, but they had they probably had some idea of like, what, this guy's like trying to get away from spiders. What if it's even, I bet the idea was like, let's build a movie around a guy falling from a second floor balcony and going through the floor. Okay, that sounds good. Let's build a movie around that. What would cause him to do that?
See, spiders. I was thinking it was kind of the same. Like, the whole movie was built around the premise of like, there's somebody that's trapped in a house with a spider, but they can't kill it, but it just keeps like popping up, and it's like whack-a-mole, and they're destroying their whole house trying to come through and get this one spider. Because it's definitely like he gets down in the basement and he's taking a flamethrower to his house to take out this spider. Like at that point, he's just like, we're just gonna burn this mother down. Like, spider. And like, that's very much so like the attitude you get with the spider. Like, at first you're like, okay, it's annoying. Like, I'm gonna swat at it. Oh, it's still here somewhere. Okay, well, I'm gonna amp it up. Maybe I'll get something bigger and swat at it. I'm still not getting it. Okay, let's go to poisons. And then eventually you get to that point where you're like, we're just gonna burn this house down because. And I feel like that's where this movie went.
There's that indie game out there called
Kill It With Fire.
And that's the exact same thing.
Kill It With Fire.
Yeah.
I think that game was based off this movie.
They they couldn't get the licensing to name it Arachnophobia, the game, so they just said Kill It With Fire. Yeah.
So, do doctors' medical plates let you park anywhere? Like, it won't.
I wondered
pulls
that.
Up, and they're giving him a ticket, and he's like, "I got doctor's plates." So, does that let you park anywhere?
I don't know.
I don't think that's the case.
I don't think so.
I think you can just park anywhere. Unless it's a medical emergency.
Well, yeah, I could see like, a medical emergency, or you parked in a handicap spot because it's a medical emergency, or whatever. I don't know. But maybe but he's not using it for a medical emergency.
That's where he works.
Yeah.
Which, like, does he not have his own parking spot at his own work?
Well,
or no, he was leaving the other doctor's office. Yeah,
he was leaving. Yeah, he hadn't. It hadn't been his yet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So was he just parking randomly on the street, or was he in like a handicap spot? I couldn't tell like what he was. That's right. The meter was ran over.
The meter,
that's what it was.
Which this is a small town, and you're telling me that there's meters.
There's parking meters, right?
Yeah. No, I've lived in a small town my whole life. There's
never had a parking meter.
No, never once.
No. They would not stand for that.
No, absolutely not.
No. And how did they get the kids to clear the table without arguing? Like, everybody gets done with dinner at some point, and they're like, "Okay, kids, clear the table," and they're like, "Sure, we'll do it."
Yeah.
No, that's not how that goes. You ever asked your kids to clear the table before?
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that.
Although I don't remember when I was that age, around that time, I would have given my parents crap about it. Like,
no, we would have done it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just need a movie on how Ross and Molly parent, and then we could, maybe that's the sequel.
Where do you see this going if they made a sequel?
So I would see. Okay, I'm going to give you my ludicrous idea first.
All right, give me your sequel.
The one spider that got away from the egg sac, follows Ross and Molly to their apartment complex in San Francisco because he killed his parents and he's out for blood.
My name's Inigo Montoya.
Yeah, that's right. So he's infesting, just absolutely infesting this apartment complex. Matter of fact, one up that. He infests the entire San Francisco area.
No.
And Ross is the only one that knows how to take care of it.
All right.
That's it. But no, in all seriousness, the spider comes back, like one got away or something, and they get a hold of Ross because they know he's the one that knows how to handle it. And because he's the sheriff calls him, and was like, "Hey,
yeah,
we got these spiders again.
Need a favor?"
Or maybe, yeah, exactly. Or maybe the sheriff calls the other professor, and I don't know. But they get Ross pulled back into this whole thing, and then after that, him and Molly decide, okay, maybe this is where we're supposed to be at. So then it comes full circle.
They come back around. See, I was thinking it goes in a different direction.
Okay.
We did Arachnophobia, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And so hang on. I'm gonna look something up.
Okay.
Because it's we gotta have it for this. Come on, load. So we did Arachnophobia with the first movie, fear of spiders. Mm-hmm. He's afraid of spiders. They move out to the country, spiders, blah, blah, blah. Then they move back to San Francisco, and we have seismophobia. He's afraid of earthquakes.
So with the earthquakes, yeah. Well, they do allude to that at the end of the...
Yeah, exactly. And there's a big earthquake that shakes up the town, and there's fallout from it, and we have drama and everything around it. And it's just an earthquake movie. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with spiders or anything like that. It's just an earthquake movie. And then they decide to move back to the country. And as they're unpacking, a little spider pops up on top of a package or something at the very end.
Yeah.
That's the final shot, is another spider popping up, and it's are we getting another Arachnophobia?
Yeah.
Just a sequel just to purely serve a true sequel.
Yes. I like it.
So one thing we haven't touched on, this is the Jennings family.
I know.
We don't see that very often.
I kept thinking that. Yeah. No relation.
I forgot about that completely. And then I'm watching the movie, and they're like, we're the Jennings family or whatever. Yeah. And my wife was like, wait, what? The Jenningses? I'm like, yeah. Go figure. You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
I can't think of another movie with a main character that's a Jennings until this one.
Yeah, I can't either. So you watched this with your wife?
Yeah, I put it on and she was in the room. She was sorting Legos for a project, and she sat and watched it with me.
So you should have totally started spinning this web, pun intended, about oh yeah,
based on true facts.
Did I never tell you this? This was based off of our Uncle Ross, several years. It wasn't in the 90s. It actually happened in the 60s, but it was a long time ago. And he just spin this web.
Second cousin Ross.
Yeah, your wife's too smart. She wouldn't fall for it, but it would be...
maybe one of our kids.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So did you watch this with anybody else, or was it just you watching it?
I can never get anybody to watch anything with me anymore. I tell my wife every week. She's like, "What are you watching?" And I'll tell her. Yeah. She's like, "Oh, I don't want to watch that."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel you there. I thought maybe
Yeah.
your daughter might want to watch it with you.
Yeah. I guess she watched it. There was a couple scenes she watched in it, but she does not like spiders at all.
Okay.
And I told her, I said, I'm going to be watching this. There's spiders in it. It's called Arachnophobia. She knows what that is. And she's like, okay. And she was in the living room with me, but she turned her back and she was on the couch and her face was like right up against her iPad.
And every once in a while she kind of do one of these numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nope. Back into it.
Yep. Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I got one more note.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Because I'm tapped out on it.
The final credits are rolling. Did you notice they were the music they were playing? You'll have to go back and watch the final credits if you did.
Okay.
I don't know if this song was written specifically for the movie, but it feels like it. It's called Don't Bug Me by Jimmy Buffett. And
really?
It's a song about it sounds like a song about spiders. It kind of sounds like it's based off of the movie. It talks about like creepy crawlies and bugs and stuff like that. And so I thought it was, if it's not, it's a very good pick for running over the credits for sure.
I
thought it was funny.
I'm willing to bet it had been made for this movie. I can't. A quick Google search, I can't find the information. But everything I'm seeing, all the images for it are for the Arachnophobia soundtrack, which leads me to believe that it had to have been just created for that. Otherwise, I'd see like some album artwork or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, original theme song. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
How about
Don't
that?
Bug Me. It's whimsical. It's fun. Yeah.
Don't bug me. Yeah. That's great. That's great. Yeah. You don't see Jimmy Buffett on a lot of soundtracks. So
except for Margaritaville.
Good for Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's that. Yeah. All right.
But,
well, I'm tapped out. You got anything else?
Yeah.
That's
that does it for me too. That was a fun one. I really enjoyed going back and watching this one. It was a lot of fun. Again, a movie not to be taken seriously, but if you go into it not taking it seriously, it's fun. A lot of things that if you don't take things seriously, they can be a lot of fun. And this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Just go in and expect to have fun. That's it. Yeah. Don't look for greatness. I mean,
don't take it too seriously. Yeah.
You don't take it too seriously. Yeah. Now, I will say, look for greatness in John Goodman's acting in this because it is fantastic. It's very good. Yeah.
Definitely.
So you got our Retro Ramble question for next week?
I do. I have our Retro Ramble for next week. And hope you're ready. All right. So next week, Retro Ramble. I figured we could open up and we'll talk about what's something that you always wanted to do as a kid, but never got the chance to. And now it might be a little late or maybe a little silly to do as an adult. So something that you always wanted to do as a kid, but never got the chance to, and now it might be a little too late for. Okay. We'll talk about that next week when we come back.
Good. I like that one. Yeah.
Until then, remember, sharing is caring. Reviews help a lot. This has been This Podcast Takes Tokens. Be sure to share that with your friends. Anybody that's willing to listen, pick your favorite episode, share it with somebody that would really enjoy it. That would really help us out a lot. We appreciate it very much so. Thank you very much. Be kind and rewind. Until next time.
See you next week. This Podcast Takes Tokens is a Clay Street production.